Hey, this is the Animal Alchemist here. This video doesn't seem to be like that popular, but it's one of those videos people always seem to point at or put in their videos as like a resource. I find it laughable, so I'll just do a video on that. I know a bit about. I've got a diploma in nutrition. I know a bit about health. I'm not like a, but I'm very open to all. All people's perceptions on diets. I try and see everyone's point. But with this video, there is things in there that's ridiculous.
There's nothing about meat that in any way stimulates brain development. People with low DHA and EPA, which are long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, tend to actually have their brain shrink over time.
DHA and EPA. And if you aren't making enough of this stuff to keep your brain healthy, there are studies showing that as the decades go by, long-term vegans can suffer brain shrinkage and dementia risk.
And get this.
Oh, let me just try and respond to that. I'm getting immense brain. No, but like these are like heavily edited. So they edit the parts out when they say where vegans get EPA and DHA from. It's not only you don't have to take supplements for it. I don't take supplements. People get EPA from fish and DHA from fish. You can get it from seaweed. I get it from seaweed. I go to the beach and I eat it straight off the beach. I don't give a shit. And because it's wild, it's fair. It'll have bacteria all over it, especially with it being in the sea, to where bacteria thrives. The bacteria produces the B12. The reason why 40% of Americans don't get B12, and it goes on about B12 in a minute, but I should have waited, but the reason why 40% of Americans don't get B12, enough B12, is because of pesticides. Pesticides kills the bacteria. Overly washing their food kills the bacteria, and plus the tap water has chemicals in it, just kills everything. And cooking kills the bacteria, so you're killing the B12. So when people point to meat as being like primed substance B12, no, you've got to eat it raw. Plus, most farms give the cows B12 supplements because they don't get enough. Most meat's factory farmed. The soil's depleted with pesticides. So people aren't getting enough. Oh, come on.
Vegetarians and vegans can easily be EPA and DHA deficient, even if you're taking flaxseed, eating flaxseed and chia seeds, because that produces ALA, but your body has to turn ALA to DPA and EPA, DHA and EPA, and it has about a 10% efficiency doing so.
And because vegans don't eat fish, as the years go by, vegans can wind up with lowish levels of DHA. And because so much DHA is used by the brain, there's been concern that these lower levels of DHA in the brain might predispose vegans to decrease in cognition function and even downward dementia. And I certainly have been taking the DHA supplementation myself and recommending that others take it in cognition function and even downward dementia. And I certainly have been taking the DHA supplementation myself and recommending that others take it as well. Wow. Well, this was the way it was till recently when...
By the way, I'll just point out now, before the video gets any further, the best philosophers and scientists, most of them were vegetarians and vegans, like Leonardo da Vinci. If you look at his writings, he was a vegan, and he actually used to liberate animals. He used to buy chickens just to let them go, just to let them free. He was big on animal rights. He said the future. He said one day men will look at the murder of animals as they do upon the murder of men. He heavily believed that. Pythagoras, he was nearly vegan, but he ate honey. That was the only thing. And then all the ones that followed, Plato, Socrates, Aristotle, they were all vegetarians, strict vegetarians. Tesla, who's a vegetarian, Einstein, although people don't really like Einstein that much. I mean, a lot of people do, but a lot of people on BitChute know they know more about him. Let's say. I mean, it's the same with Edison. Apparently, he was a vegetarian, but he used Tesla's electricity, the AC electricity, to electrocute an elephant to death in public, just to prove that AC was dangerous. To discredit. It was just, so. I think some pretend, some don't. Like Hitler was vegetarian as well, but history is written by the victors. There's a lot of lies out there about many people that lost wars all through history.
So I've changed my thinking on taking supplemental DHA. I've stopped taking it myself, and I'm going to stop recommending that people take the supplemental DHA themselves.
No, why?
It's the vitamin everyone makes fun of vegans for, like, oh, vegans can't get B12, their diet sucks. Well, no, you can just take a supplement or eat fortified foods.
Likewise, the vegan diet's not perfect. We don't get a lot of B12, and so if you don't take B12, you can get higher homocysteine levels. You get higher homocysteine levels, you are at increased risk of having a stroke or a heart attack.
As I was saying before, the B12, it's because of the pesticides. I mean, most people that are vegan eat pesticide food. If you eat more organic and raw, there's more B12 than that. But if you forage, like I forage sometimes, you're getting B12 right now. Seaweed, wild seaweed, that's what, like I said before, loads. If you could drink wild river water, you get water from a stream, that's going to be full of B12. I'd love to just only drink water from a stream. Like our ancestors, that's why they had so much B12.
Without B12 fortified foods or B12 supplements, when omnivores are switched to a vegan diet, they develop vitamin B12 deficiency.
If you don't get enough of it, you can actually die.
You may start getting increased risk of cognitive deficits and brain shrinkage, stroke, depression. That's where this molecule comes in, creatine. It acts as a quick reserve energy boost when your fuel supply, oxygen and blood sugar, is running low, and transported to the brain and our muscles, the two places we need the most rapid energy deployment. The brain only takes up about 2% of body weight, but may use up to 25% of the body's energy, which found that although the overall cardiovascular disease risk is lower, vegetarians and vegans combined, they appear to be at slightly higher stroke risk. Then I'd suggest trying as an experiment, taking 1 gram of creatine a day.
It is funny though. Let me go back to that graph. So look, like with vegetarians, the heart disease risk is quite a bit lower there, but the stroke level is just slightly higher than the meat eaters, and they always like to, like the media and everything, like to point that out. Like, yeah, I get it. Everyone should be honest about the diet thing. But again, with when it comes to when it's talking about the creatine and the brains, I mean, the Gladiators were vegans, and all philosophers, most of them were vegans, vegetarian or strict vegetarians, and they obviously didn't have brain problems. So it's very obvious, So to me, like you've got all through history, that's more evidence to me, than what the Daily Mail or whoever, or the Guardian says about it.
To be at slightly higher stroke risk. Then I'd suggest trying as an experiment, taking 1 gram of creatine a day and getting your homocysteine levels retested in a month to see if it helped. For now, to be on the safe side, I'd advise against taking creatine, concerned that creatine supplements might contain toxic impurities. In the process of making creatine, your body produces homocysteine as a byproduct.
Don't know enough
They took
about
a bunch of
creatine, to be honest, to comment on that.
who were not supplementing their diets in vitamin B12. So, some of their homocysteine levels were like through the roof, a few as high as 50, when the ideal is more like under 10. There seems to be an epidemic of the so-called hyperhomocysteinemia, or too much homocysteine in the blood of vegans. Again, this is a toxic substance, so we want low levels in our blood. So now the goal is to have a homocysteine level under 10. Vegans, 27. And this results in an elevation of homocysteine levels that may explain why vegetarians were recently found to have higher rates of stroke. 5-point drop in homocysteine levels in this country was
Let's see.
found to have higher rates.
Number of cases. Predicted number of coronary heart disease and total stroke per 1,000 population. Okay, so it's basically about. Yeah, when you're right, you're right.
Stroke. 5-point drop in homocysteine levels in this country would save the lives of 56,000 Americans every year. It's a neurotoxin that kills brain cells. Increased rates of degenerative brain disease, stroke risk. People with homocysteine levels over 14 are 4 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease. Age-related hearing loss, birth defects, miscarriages, blood clots, cognitive decline, depression, the list goes on. And even moderately elevated levels of this toxic substance have just been shown to be a setup for heart disease. And as we all know, dietary supplements are not regulated by the FDA, may contain contaminants or not actually contain what's on the label. Contaminants generated during the industrial production.
There was Bonnie Rebecca. She said her cholesterol was too low. That's why she was having health problems. No such thing as having too low cholesterol, by the way.
I love it. Well, is it ever possible for the numbers to be too low? My LDL is 57 and my total cholesterol is 99, and I've had regular non-vegan doctors worry about me.
Well, we've actually had the concerns, just to be upfront about it, is that your brain would go away. The cholesterol, the brain has a lot of cholesterol.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but the thing is, this is an argument used against vegans about cholesterol a lot. There is cholesterol in the plant-based diet. There's 2 types of cholesterol. There's LDL cholesterol, which clogs the arteries, and there's HDL cholesterol, which is basically plant cholesterol. And say like an avocado, for example, is 80% fat. So that's HDL cholesterol. Peanut butter, nuts, seeds, things like that. They've all got the fats in. And if because there's some people out there that will argue that LDL is a good cholesterol for some reason. It doesn't appear to be. I mean, studies always show it clogs the arteries. But coconut oil is LDL cholesterol. That's pure LDL cholesterol. So it's not like vegans can't get it. If we did for some reason need LDL cholesterol, which we don't, then coconut oil would fit that, Because studies have shown that LDL cholesterol, because it clogs the arteries, including the brain, causes, it leads to dementia and Alzheimer's. Sorry, my camera's gone dark because the screen's gone dark. It's sun's gone down now.
Yeah. So if your cholesterol is too low, perhaps wound healing, tissue healing is going to be a problem.
She wouldn't be eating eggs if she thought she needed higher cholesterol. She could have just eaten coconut oil or palm oil, which is actually more effective at raising your cholesterol than just eating cholesterol from eggs.
LDL cholesterol, the bad stuff, may not change in number, but it changes in character. So pro-thrombotic means it's more likely to create clots in your blood vessels. And so this is exactly what we don't want. And all of this can be reversed if people stop eating sugar.
And on top of that, just make some dietary modifications within a 100% plant-based diet. You don't need to consume so much fiber. Instead of eating entirely whole foods, switch to some refined grains like white rice.
Not consume foods that are hormonally unfavorable or glycemically unfavorable, like pasta, white bread, always say the white of the bread, as soon as you're dead. In other words, we're saying that when you have high insulin and high glucose levels, glucose spikes.
Yeah, but let's be honest. We all know sugar and refined carbs are bad. You know, you want natural carbs, which is fruit and veg. You know, you don't want refined sugars. It's just like I don't know why that's an argument against veganism. Everyone knows that.
It's destroy brains.
Apart from vegan gains. Vegan gains is just stupid. It's just mongoloid.
Cells. Eating commercial baked goods and highly glycemic diet as a high glycemic load has been shown to increase risk of breast cancer by 87% and lose brain function and cognitive, brain shrinkage.
So a lot of people say, well, fruit is good for you, therefore fructose is okay, and if it's not, concentrated like high fructose corn syrup, then it's going to be good for you. Glucose is not good, and table sugar, sucrose, not good. Well, no, they're really the same.
When you reflect,
yeah, again, if you separate, like Marcus Rothbard talks about this a lot, and he's right about a lot of things. You're having sugar, you want it to be in fruit. We don't all eat perfect diets. We'll have cake every now and then or whatever. But it's not like there's no one out there eating the all cake and juice diet. Like, yeah, I lost 50 pounds. No one thinks this. Vegans don't think this. This is an argument against veganism.
Place meat with refined carbohydrates, you experience no health benefits whatsoever.
He'll show you why sugar, including food sugar, can be damaging when you're sick, especially.
But keto and vegan have one enemy, and that's sugar. Okay.
And vitamin D is an issue. Too low vitamin D levels predispose you to everything from immune deficiencies to dementia.
No, I don't believe that, Jew. Vitamin D comes from the sun, and carnivores like to argue, or maybe omnivores like to argue this, that you can't get vitamin D sufficiently from the sun. Well, okay, say that's true. Let's say that's true. Plants absorb vitamin C. Plants' main source of food is the sun. They're converting that vitamin D. They're processing it naturally. We eat it, we get the vitamin D from it. I mean, bananas are one of the highest things in vitamin D. A lot of fruit is very high in vitamin D. Fruit comes from hot countries. Not that your diet should just be fruit, I'm not saying that. Fruitarianism doesn't seem to be that good of a diet to me. Veganism is good. Plant-based, whole food, eat a lot of raw food, a little bit cooked, Like the Akanawans, they lived past 100. Most of their diet was plants. 99% of their diet was plants. Tiny bit of sushi, tiny bit of fish. Most of their diet was sweet potatoes, and they lived to 103 on average. So,
You really want to make sure you're getting vitamin D either through food or a supplement. Sunlight isn't really a reliable way to get vitamin D.
Your vitamin D come from? Well, if you get enough warm sunshine throughout the year, you don't have a problem.
And you can see Dr. Greger starts out by saying that basically vitamin D pills
keeps freezing, sorry. But
really don't offer much benefit. That he says when researchers put supplements to the test, the purported links often didn't pan out.
They don't need
In only a handful of conditions have interventional studies proven
vegan gains is also
vitamin D to be effective.
Oh man, I'm just so bloated. Maybe it's that vegan diet I started last week. Stunny says no. Whoa, I feel so anemic.
That's obviously a troll. It's got make fun.
I just started. Vegan. Stunny says no. Oh. Okay. I'm like bleeding out of my gums. Stunny says no. You shut your. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so you've got cultures like the Seventh-day Adventists in America. They've done a study on them. They live longer than, they're the healthiest, one of the healthiest cultures there is, the Seventh-day Adventists, because most of them eat vegan. Their religion, a part of their religion is eating a vegan diet. Yeah, and vegans in general live 12 years longer than the average person, on average. And that's including all the vegans that just eat processed junk and whatnot. And I obviously don't promote eating processed junk. Trying to eat healthy. But so it didn't show Dr. Greger saying that vitamin D, you don't get it on a vegan diet. To be honest, Dr. Greger's the only doctor out of them all I trust. They all just seem funded. Most doctors out there are funded. He's the only one I seem to trust about diet, really. And even him, I don't trust 100%. All his studies seem correct. I look at them, they don't appear to be funded by any corporation. He always points out that even if there's a study about blueberries, saying how good blueberries are, often a blueberry company will be behind them, funding them. And it's the same with the meat industry, the dairy industry, sugar industry, even with fruit and veg, he says. So there's a level of respect for his honesty I have, but I also don't have 100%. It's not like I have 100% trust for him either. I don't trust anybody, But yeah, and our ancestors, a lot of the Aryan ancestors, a lot of Germans were vegetarian. Germany's strongest man is currently a vegan. We've always been around, So Pythagoras, that was like 500 BC. 500 BC. Was it 500 or 5,000? Anyway, we've always been around. We've always been documented through history. Even the Native Americans, the Choctaw tribe, sorry. Archaeologists say they were vegetarians, a lot of them. So yeah, we've always been around, just as many years have been around through history. And we'll never go away unless humanity dies. Good to you. Right. Thanks for watching. I'm just babbling. I'm getting on my own nerves. So goodbye. Goodbye.